Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Infinite Ability Podcast. I am your host, Nick Earhart, and we are here to encourage each other to find our own unique abilities. Let's go. All right, everyone. So today we have Dena, and this is going to be a great episode because we just sat and chatted for a little bit, and we connect. Like, we're all about the same thing when it comes to health and taking care of ourselves. So, Dena, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, so my name is Dena Paduano. I am originally from California and I now live in Italy. I've lived in Italy 14 years. And by living in Italy, I've been able to get an outside perspective of sort of the life I was living, right? And I'm somebody who I'm a psychic and I'm also an intuitive life coach. And what that means is that I can give you options and premonitions for your future and situations from your past, but I connect it with life coaching to help you start connecting your mind-body connection so that I can help you go in a direction that's actually best for you, not everybody else in the world, not a blanketed statement. What's the best for you and whatever it is that you are dealing?
Yeah, I like that approach because everybody's different. You know, it's the same when
Yeah.
I work with my clients. They're business owners. I'm a business coach, and I gotta see where they're at and see what they need, so then we can move forward, and I can help them the best that I can.
Yeah, and it's so important because I think what happens is so many of us were conditioned that we should all be working at the same pace or same
Yep.
speed. And I have ADHD and dyslexia and I'm autistic and I have so many other learning things on top of dealing with chronic pain. So what works for you might not work for me.
Exactly. Yep. Same here. You know, I have cerebral palsy. So trust me, there's a lot of things that people can do that I do a lot different than the way that they do it. You know,
Yes, but you still
just
can do it just in a
exactly,
different way.
exactly. Like one example because I give this example because everybody likes it and everybody's like, "How do you do it?" I type on my phone with my nose. That's that's the easiest way for me. Like here, I'll just show you. Like,
Show me.
this
Oh my
is
God, you
how
can
this is how I use my phone. Yeah. Yeah, so and like I can like put my phone on my lap and use a finger to do it, but the quickest way and easiest is just to use my nose.
See, and for me, when people go, "Oh, do you journal? Do you whatever?" I will verbal text on my notes app and I'll
Same.
verbal text everything out there because with the arthritic stuff or the pain stuff or the ADHD, I know myself well enough to know that that's eventually going to feel like homework if I have to type it out and I have to sit there and I have to journal. So I found a way that works for me and for my brain to where I
Yep.
don't mind doing it or I look forward to doing it. You know what I mean? It's
Yep.
about hacking our brains or hacking our systems. And so I'm a big believer because I deal with chronic pain and medical issues and stuff like that is that I have to have like non-negotiables for my pain. So like my life, I can't live in linear time. And I'm sure you can attest to this also from the stuff that you deal with is like Sunday is no different than a Wednesday. If I have pain, I have pain and I have to
Hmm.
deal with that pain. And so for me, my non-negotiables are I invested in an infrared sauna bag and
Hmm.
I do that and I do a meditation and I do the red and the blue light for the face and that's habit stacking. So then that helps me in 30 minutes get 3 of my non-negotiables done. And then it
Yep.
sets me up for the whole day. I've noticed that when I don't do the infrared sauna bag, I have something called Raynaud's phenomenon on top of all my other things that those symptoms will trigger. And so I can't afford to miss my steps. And so when people go, well, I don't have time to do all the things you're doing, or I don't have time. Listen, if you're in as much pain as I'm in, there isn't anything you wouldn't do. So
Yep.
you'll make time. You'll
You'll
find time.
you'll make time for the things that are important.
And
I
you
hear it
have
all the
to.
time. Yep.
Yes, for sure. And so everyone gets their own perspective, but what nobody is allowed to do anymore is to insert their opinions on how I should be living my life because they're not in my body. They don't know my pain. They don't, just because I make it look good or I may make it look easy, it doesn't mean that it's easy. It just means that I've chosen a different path on how to deal with things.
Yep. And I love that you're talking about this because it's important for people to understand that it is okay to do things differently. Figure out what works for you. Don't follow the crowd. Don't listen to everyone tell you how to do something. Just do it your own way. And especially for people that do have disabilities, um, like it's okay to be different. We're all different. Every human's different. It's okay to be yourself and do what makes your life better.
For sure. Well, and also to add on to that is I think what people don't understand is it's our conditioning. So it's you should want to do anything to fit in. And it's like,
Oh,
wait,
yeah.
what about celebrating my individuality? What about
Uh-huh.
celebrating what makes me different? What about so wait, so I'm now trying in my brain with ADHD, dyslexia, my chronic pain, and everything. I'm now going to try to compete with somebody who doesn't have any of those issues or let's say with someone like you. I'm really trying to learn and I also get my clients not to learn is to learn not to do this is we don't compare pain. And so many people are so used to going, well, they don't have it so bad. She has all the money in the world, or she doesn't have to work. What does she do all day? Or this one doesn't. What? No, that's not the way that is. No. So what I'm getting used to is turning down the volume of that narrative that would gaslight me and keep me stuck and make me feel like I had to be competing with those people or be on that level to have any value. And what I'm learning for myself, and then I also teach others, it's not true. It's how you treat yourself and how you show up for yourself. But that conditioning that blanketed over all of us, it's not working anymore. And I think people are figuring that out.
Yep, I agree with you there. And I spent like 26 years of my life trying to fit in.
Mm.
Literally trying to hide my disability. And trust me, you can't hide this. Like this
No,
is not something you can hide.
not really.
I was like 20, 29 years old before I fully accepted who I am. And
For sure. I didn't find out I was autistic till I was 52
oh,
and didn't,
wait,
and so I'm
how are you?
56.
How are you?
I'm
How? I
56.
thought you were like 43.
No,
Jeepers.
thank you. Keep
You
going.
look
That's
good. You look
amazing.
good.
But
You look great.
I didn't find out I had ADHD or autism until I was 52. So imagine I was pursuing acting. I lived in LA. Everything was always blamed on my weight. So I've released 100 pounds in 5 years. It's been a very long journey. And
Congratulations.
thank you, but all the things that everyone told me were going to happen, that if I finally got skinny, meaning my pain would be gone, my medical issues would be gone, I'd finally meet the man of my dreams, I'd get that job I was, none of that happened. Not one
No.
thing other than clothes fit differently. And now I'm not fixated about diet. But
Mm.
my whole life, I was trying to fit into that world, not realizing I was autistic and had ADHD. And then on top of that, I'm trying to fit in and have you pick me and you never pick me. And so then you add gaslighting. You're not enough. You're this, you're that. You'll never be enough. No one's ever going to pick you. And then that causes more harm, right? And
Yep.
so now I'm in the process of unlearning all of that stuff. And I'm in the process of what it looks like to relearn and build a solid foundation of where
Yep.
I'm at now. Right. And so many people will say to me, like I talked to a client yesterday, she goes, God, from when I first met you until now, you're so different, but it's like you're light. And I was like, yeah, because I finally know who I am, how my brain
Mm.
works. I finally am picking me first. I'm showing
Yep.
up for me. And this is what that looks like. Do you
Yep.
know what I
That's
mean?
incredible. Oh yeah, I know for sure. Because I didn't become myself until I was able to accept myself. And something that you touched on a little bit, the fact that you unlearn. You know, I look at self development as more unlearning than learning.
For sure, I totally agree with you. Well, but if you think about it, right, it's that because I've been in talk therapy for 30 years and I love it. But, me and my dad were having this conversation the other day is that I said, Dad, if I had never moved to where I live in the middle of nowhere in the Italian countryside, because I was married before and living in Rome, right? I was always distracted by things, by people, by narratives. If
Mhm.
I hadn't moved out here, my dad said, I would have never changed the way I was able to change. And I said, you're absolutely right. Cause I was always distracted by everyone else's narrative I was trying to live up to. This during COVID forced me by myself in the middle of nowhere to look in. The only way to get out is to go in. And even though I've been in talk therapy for so long, I have never gone in to get to know myself the way I have now. And I had to get rid of every distraction, drinking, certain people in my life and certain things. And I've always been a vegetarian, but I've been vegan for the last 4 years. Don't eat refined sugar. I had to quit alcohol. Now it seems, and I'm allergic to coffee. I have 28 food allergies. I have a machine in my back. I've had 34 surgeries, and I've had a terrible childhood, right? So it's like there's a lot to unpack. And I think parts of me knew that I was going to have to deal with this stuff. And the ADHD in me was always trying to, prolong it. Not now, not now. I'm not ready now. I'm not. And then when I quit the alcohol, less distractions. And then when I quit the sugar, the food chatter stopped or the noise stopped
Yeah.
in my head. And
Sugar is
I started
awful.
awful. And I had to
Oh,
start letting go of everything. And I had to take responsibility for me instead of blaming my condition on doctors or other people outside of who I am. But they conditioned us that everything we need is outside of who we are. They didn't
yep,
condition us to go in and check in with yourself and show up for yourself.
yep. Yeah, and the more you can take responsibility for yourself, the better things are, because then you take control. You're like, all right, this happened. How did I cause this? Because it doesn't matter what it is. If you went through something hard, it was somehow caused by you. There is that, there's certain things that don't fall under that. But a lot of our life, like our adult life, is like, are you have been working the same job for 10 years that you hate. That's your fault. Nobody else's.
For
You know,
sure. And
you
so
are
many people don't believe in that though. They'll be like, what am
exactly.
I supposed to do? I have to make a living and there's not many. And it's like, and I'm not even going to say it's a problem, but that's where the issue is. It's the conditioning. It's the narrative. It's how we gaslight ourselves. That's what keeps us stuck. And that's what they want. And when I say they, it's that 1% or the governments or whatever anyone believes in who wants control over us. That's what they want. They want us
Mhm.
stuck on a system that keeps us in control and paying into their system. And what
Exactly.
I'll say
Yep.
is with all of my medical issues, with all the stuff and the chronic pain and everything in both countries, in the States and in here, it's the same as no one ever teaches you what the root cause is and they just medicate you. Right. And
Mhm.
so it wasn't until it was a year ago, I was listening to this podcast and it was with Cal and Casey Means. And she had said, a lot of you are on medications. Probably 50% of you are on medications and don't even need it. And I was like, wait, what? What? Run it by me again? So then I
Mhm.
got very cozy with ChatGPT. And
Mhm.
of course, I spoke with my doctor, but all the questions I had and how to sort of tirade off of everything and wean off of everything, I invested in an infrared sauna bag. I invested in my Joe Dispenza YouTube free meditations.
Yeah.
I created a system in place for me in order to take my power back because every time I would go to a doctor, I would invest all of my hopes, my desires, and my future into them. And when that lady said it, I was like, wait a minute, because the last time I had been to a rheumatologist, he had said to me, and he gaslit the F out of me. I said, I think I have EDS because I realized that I'm neurodivergent. Oh, that's an infant's disease. And I said, excuse me? Hypermobility and EDS is, and by the way, this was the professor of the region that I went to, and it's huge. No, it's an infant's disease. They also don't believe in ADHD. And so I had to, with ChatGPT, come up with a system for myself of like, look,
Mhm.
I'm in a place that doesn't recognize these things. How can I
Yeah.
treat myself in this way? And I've slowly, under a doctor's care, have weaned off of, and I'm talking, I weaned off of um, acid reflux medicine, thyroid medicine, antidepressants I was on for 20 years. All these medicines, 3 times a day, I was on for 20 years. I weaned off, and I was very afraid, especially with the antidepressants, because I've gone off of them before and it didn't end well because
Yeah.
chemical suppression, right? But now that I'm clean eating and I'm doing the infrared bag and I'm weaning off of the medications, and that same professor had said, your osteoporosis is so bad that if you fall, you will break your back and every bone in your body. And I looked at my friend and I go, this is gaslighting at its finest. He goes, I am
Yeah.
not gaslighting you. I go, oh no, that's exactly what you're doing. You're
Mhm.
gaslighting me. And because he didn't give me anything other than, I said, so if I don't have all these things that you're saying I don't have, then I can stop taking that medication. Oh no, we're going to double it. Wait, what? That doesn't make, that doesn't. So now I'm taking this stuff 3 times a day, right? So then my doctor, after like 8 months, was like, why aren't you getting your medicines every month? And I said, oh, I've been weaning off, slowly and blah, 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 under another doctor's thing. And then he goes, no, 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 you need to do all these blood tests. I took 100 blood tests and a new mock, because the mock measures your bone density.
Yeah.
Tell me after 9 months how no osteopenia or osteoporosis found, no rheumatoid arthritis or rheumatoid factors found, no gout. I was in advanced and all three of those. My ex-husband, still till this day, this is a month and a half ago, goes, but I don't understand. 9 months ago, it said you had severe osteoporosis, like a mock doesn't lie. This last one, it says nothing. And they said, well, I will attribute it to two different things or three. One is the Joe Dispenza meditation, the visualization, taking
Yeah.
my power back. The infrared sauna bag sure contributed to the help of it. Or maybe all those medications were causing rebound effects and
Mhm.
other things, because I found out after I got off the medications, the thyroid medication I was on, one of the side effects, osteoporosis.
Yep.
So it's
Exactly.
like all of these things were causing other things, right? And then they just give you another medication to treat those other things. And I was literally always just the biggest sucker. Okay, just give it to me, just give it to me. And now I'm in a country where I don't have to pay for the medications like I did in the States. So then I
Mhm.
was like the easy target. Right? Because as an
Yep.
American, literally, oh yeah, you need surgery, get surgery. Okay, go. I never, that podcast, for some reason, I heard it on top of, I had already been doing the quit drinking, clean eating, like all of that. And really, it's also the mindset shift, right? It's how
That's
we
what I
talk
was
to
gonna say.
ourselves. Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's really, I think I finally surrendered to my conditions. And before, I was always in denial, and I always thought a pill was going to be the solution and that was going to save me. And no one ever taught me that I was going to save me. And that's what's happening, is this is me saving me, and this is what that looks like.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% because I like that you talked about Dr. Joe Dispenza and
Mhm.
how you believe that his meditations help you. And I believe that too, because if we can control our mind and control what we believe, we can literally heal the things in our body just with our mind. It's incredible. There's tons of studies out there on this. You guys can look them up. It's a real thing. But if you are there and you do have a problem like a bad or achy knee or something, let's just say that, and you focus your mind on that, it's just going to get worse and worse
For
and worse.
sure.
Yeah.
Like, I was talking to my therapist last week about this, is about chronic pain and how the Raynaud's phenomenon, I don't even know, you can tell now the hands are purple, like blue. So all of a sudden it feels like I'm frostbit, and this is like a new thing for me. And it's just, but it's all connected to the neurodivergence, right? So it's part of the hypermobility, it's part of all of these things.
Yeah.
And so like this, so thank God for ChatGPT and other things. So I was talking to my therapist and I said, Well, sometimes I think I want to be with friends, but there are some days that I'm in so much pain that then I get bummed that I made plans. And he goes, "See, I think you're looking at it all wrong." And I was like, "Tell me more." My therapist is 93 and we've been together 30 years. So
That's cool.
he said, "I think that you're looking at it wrong. I think going out with friends is the best thing you can do because it's going to distract you from your pain. And
Yep.
if you're just sitting at home canceling plans, the only thing you're thinking about is your pain."
Exactly.
And that
Yep.
really is where the mindset comes in, is that we distract ourselves. It's like if you break up with someone, you go out with your friends to distract yourself. When it
Yep.
comes to pain or ailments, some of us never think of that because we're so in the pain that we've become our pain, that
Mhm.
we think that if we're going to let it pass or if we lay here long enough. No, if you lay there long enough, what I've realized for me is the more I lay here, the more pain I'm in. I have to actually
Same.
move my body.
Same. I gotta move. The
And
less I
it's
move, the more I hurt.
for
Mhm.
sure. And people don't get that because people go, "Well, I see you at the gym all the time, or I see you doing this all the time. I mean, you seem fine to me." And it's just like, really? That's what you said? I mean, thank you. I'm great. I'm not trying to act it out, but
Yep.
how about if you ask me, like, how are you feeling? Like, how's it going? Like, for me, it looks like you're doing well, but am I seeing this correctly? And it's like, it's not a choice. I've been forced into this. And so when I get up and I do things, or even I really suggest everyone invest in an infrared sauna bag. They're $100 on Amazon. And
Okay.
that infrared light, because it goes 7 layers deep,
Mhm.
and then I'll put like castor oil in my belly button while I'm in there, right? And just other things, but it helps me feel like I've been lubed and oiled my joints, right?
Mhm.
Like it helps with the inflammation and it helps stimulate
Yep.
collagen. And there's just so many benefits. So for me, it's just kind of like it helps me be a well-oiled machine. And
Mhm.
so then the other gift I gave to myself, and anyone, we all have chat GPT. I like DeepSeek available to us, is I was like, I joined the gym and I hadn't been in years, since 2017. And I know I have to build muscle again. And a voice in my head was like, yes, but the gym this time isn't the way you always used to do the gym. And me, because I'm from California and I used to pursue acting, it was like, push through, no pain, no gain, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I knew that that wasn't going to work for me this time around. So I asked chat, and it said, with your conditions, no pain, no gain is not an option. There's no such thing. If you feel pain, you stop. Right.
Yep.
And so then it
Yep.
gave me like a workout of what to do. And I asked it for pictures of the machines because the names
Mhm.
in Italian are different. Right. And I've never done that before. I've never just listened to my brain and been like, okay, this is enough. You don't have to overdo it. You don't have to blah, blah, blah. But the way I was trained growing up, unless you're sweating your ass off, unless you're sore the next day, and like, what was
Mhm.
the point of the gym? And it's like, how about moderation, balance, building
Yep.
something? And so I'm
Yep.
learning what that looks like now at 56 years old,
Yep.
and that's new for me, is listening to my brain.
Yep. Yep. And I like that you talk about that because it's not about how much you do. It's about just taking action. Like for me, usually I just do a 7 minute workout in the morning. No weights, no nothing. Just a workout. And that alone improves my whole entire day.
Yeah,
Just
it
doing
sets
that.
the tone, right? It's like
Yeah.
it's like me going into I have another bedroom, and so I point over there into the sauna bag. It's like you can't help, like it creates this domino effect. So once you're sweating, well, you're going to have to get in the shower, right?
Yep.
And then from the shower, then you do get dressed and you start getting ready for the day. And it just
Yep.
kind of, so then there's this thing I would love to, I don't know if you know about it. I would love to turn your audience onto how it, all of this really changed for me, because I do have ADHD, is I found this website. It's called Focusmate, and it's for accountability partners. And the first month is free. And other than that, if you you can use it for free after the first month, if you only use it 3 times a week, and then it's $10 a month after that. But it's like body doubling. So you show up on cam like this with someone and they go, what are you going to do today? And I'm like, oh, I'm meal prepping and I'm going to do yoga. And they're like, oh, okay, I'm writing my thesis. And then you put it on mute, and they have like 25-minute sessions, 50-minute sessions, and 75-minute sessions. So for a full year, every morning I got up and did a 75-minute session. I got myself used to the idea of having a routine, because I work from home and my clients don't usually start into the afternoon, because all my clients are in the States, right? So I wasn't very good at just waking up and getting into things like cleaning or working out, or I didn't have a routine most of my life because of the ADHD. But once I figured out how my brain worked, then I figured out how to literally help it, accommodate it, right? And so what I would do then is, for a full year, I did it. And I always did different things. I never did the same thing. I would clean out the refrigerator. I would do yoga, whatever it was. And then now I don't need the Focusmate in the mornings, because I've trained myself how to just automatically wake up and roll into my day.
Mhm.
I do use Focusmate though. There are times where there's a pile of clothes that I just have been gaslighting myself for and I can't get myself. I'll get on a
Yep.
25-minute Focusmate, and it
Yeah.
is shocking what you'll get done in that 25 minutes, right? So
Yeah.
I'm creating a system in place that doesn't allow me excuses to not show up for myself. And it doesn't cost money, right?
Yep.
And so it's called in neurodivergence body doubling. It's like, so what I've learned about me is I will show up for a stranger before I'll show up for myself. And that's
Yep.
what Focusmate does for me. And that's how I work. And that's how
Mhm.
I've been training. How it might look for you might be different, right? But so for me now, when I go up and I do my routines, it's like, okay, now I got that down. And now it's like, before I used to be so good at just sitting and doing nothing, but I would
Mhm.
gaslight myself. Now I'm learning that sitting and doing nothing should actually be where I actually calm myself. But
Yep.
in the environment we grew up in, it's like productivity, capitalism. What are you doing on a Wednesday at 10 a.m. and you haven't already made $200? Like,
Yeah.
wait, productivity, right? And so I don't know what that looks like. And that's where I'm at now, is learning that when my body and my mind need rest, I need to learn how to give it rest. But if I
Yep.
sit there all day, what I learned for myself is gaslighting myself, going, I have to clean this, I have to do this, and not doing it before I created the morning routine. That's not resting. That's actually contributing to my anxieties and everything else, right? So, really, the mind body connection, there's so much work we can do in different ways, right? And so it's like when people go, well, I did nothing all day. Well, how often did you gaslight yourself throughout the day? And so you didn't not do nothing, you tortured yourself all
Mhm.
day, right? And so
Yep.
what does it look like? And I shouldn't have to tell you how much pain I'm in for you to allow me, without judging me, the rest.
Mhm.
Right. And so
Oh,
I
yeah.
think, like, it's literally so many of us. It's like when I was married and we're, separated, is that the last thing he said to me is, I'm tired of dealing with your medical issues.
Mhm.
And for me, that was like my biggest fear, right? And so I'm for sure not going to allow that to replay in my head over and over
No.
like I did in the first couple of years. It just wasn't the right person.
Mhm.
Right. And so, and I'm sure he didn't mean it. I'm sure he just said it in a way is to hurt me and make me
Mhm.
feel bad, because hurt people hurt people.
Yeah,
Right. But
exactly.
I will say, though, that that did have an effect on me. And so I have to figure out what that looks like. And I also have to choose friends and new partners, or whatever that's going to look like, who are understanding of that and who I don't have to justify that.
Mhm.
I don't want to have to show you how much pain I'm in to prove to you why I'm relaxing today or not
Yep.
doing what you think I should be doing.
Mhm.
You know what I
Yep.
mean? So
Oh, yeah.
I think a lot of people struggle with that, and they're trying to live up to others' expectations. And all that got me was I would re-injure myself or my back
Mhm.
or my shoulders, trying to prove to you that what I deserve to take up space. You know
Exactly.
what I mean?
Well, yeah. Alright. Thank you for sharing all that. And I want to make sure that everybody listening knows how they can get a hold of you. So first off, who is your ideal client for the audience? Like, I want them to know that like you're the one for them.
Okay, my ideal client is somebody who knows that they want something different for themselves, but they just don't know where to start. And it's also my ideal client is somebody that has a hunger for something different. And my ideal client is literally somebody who really wants to find their happiness again, how to show up for themselves again. Because I think we've all been taught that happiness is outside of us and it's something that we find. And it's like if we're good enough, thin enough, cute enough, whatever enough, then we're going to find someone that makes us happy. And what I'm here to teach you is how to find your own happiness and how to make your own happiness.
And through your story, like we know that you can do that. We know that you can help others accomplish that. So that's really awesome. And
Thank
what
you.
is your business called?
My business is I'm a psychic and an intuitive life coach, but on my socials, they can find me on Dena Paduano on Instagram or Intuitive Coach Dena on YouTube, Intuitive Coach Dena on TikTok, or my website, denapaduano.com, or email
Awesome.
me, denapaduano@yahoo.com.
Awesome. Easy enough. And I
Thank
gotta
you.
ask you the same question I ask every guest, and
Okay.
that is my slogan is your abilities are infinite. What does that mean to you?
Means that there is no limit to how far I can go with my abilities. There
Love
is
that.
no limit at all. Like everything is infinite, right? So it's literally, I mean, look at me. Honestly, 5 years ago, I was 230 pounds and, I had implants. Unfortunately, they ruptured, like other things. I was such a different person that I literally think that that also means is that there's still room for us to grow and find new things.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. So
Thank you.
thank you for sharing that, and thank you for being on the show, sharing your knowledge, and helping others.
Thank you for having me. And it was so nice to meet you.
Of course. If you enjoyed this show, please go ahead and share it on your Instagram story and tag me in it, the Nick Your Heart. Also, go ahead and share it anywhere else that you see fit, because the only way that I can grow this is by you guys sharing it. I don't sell anything on here. I don't have any sponsors, so let's just get it out there by word of mouth and help more people. Alright, everyone, remember your abilities are infinite.